63, 57, 50, and 43. All right. Welcome to some of the new folks that are here. We are trading mini S&Ps. We're looking for opportunities to scalp the market. We don't believe the markets go straight up or straight down. Consequently, we're trying to find these inflection points. We have these levels that we gave out in addition to price action opportunities once the market paints some bars. So we're scalping the market for 2 to 3 points. At least today, it looks like that's the range we're looking for. Obviously, there's other days when the volatility gets injected into the market, and we have to expand our stops and also expand our profit targets. But for the time being, it looks like 2 to 3 points will do, as we kind of wait here and see what the market brings us today. Every day is a new day, so we have no expectations. We try to come in here with a clean slate and try to figure out what the market is going to do today. There's always obviously outside influences that affect the market. You've got people talking. Sometimes yesterday we had the Fed chief talking in front of Congress. You have obviously fundamental numbers that are released, and there are other things that are interjected with, especially with geopolitical situations, that all come into the market and influence the price. Sometimes we are privy or understand that these outside influences are going to be released, and sometimes we're not. So we always have to keep our stops in. And again, 2 to 3 points is a legitimate area right now, given the volatility. And so that's just a protection for for not knowing sometimes when some news is going to be released unbeknownst to us. Other times we know when things are out there that's going to be released, and we can be prepared for it. All right. So as we come back up here to our pivot, we're just kind of hanging around. All right, nice trade there, Robert. Again, we have to temper our expectations given the fact that unemployment is going to be released tomorrow, and then maybe the market's kind of waiting for that little situation to occur. The unemployment, the initial claims came out today. It was a little better than expected, but really hasn't really moved the market one way or the other. But the number could, monthly unemployment could be released, and that could have a little bit of effect on our trade tomorrow. So we have ISM services coming out at 9 o'clock, and PMI composite number at 8:45. It's smaller numbers, not so much, but those two numbers are going to be released here at 8:45 in about 12 minutes, and then 9 o'clock we have the ISM services. We'll see what they're going to add to the volatility, if any. As we slowly drift up here, I got a resistance up here at the 74 area. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask them and put them in the chat box area. I can see uh, that your question there quicker than if you put them in the Q&A section. I don't have that window up. We inched up to our 74 and came back, but we never got around to it, unfortunately. You just missed our 73 if you had that in there. All right, if we can put the levels up one more time for me, I'd appreciate it. And those of you who are looking for the levels this morning, they're right in the chat box area. We gave out just before the market opened up here. Those are our guiding light guiding posts, whatever you want to say, for the day. And then obviously we can add or subtract from them, or we can just kind of sit in the middle of the range and not go anywhere. We shall see. As we drift back down here to our pivot, so kind of almost gave us an opportunity there, and we slipped back here down to our pivot. So after initial tumble on Wednesday, stock indexes mostly closed up later in the day, but couldn't quite build support for a meaningful rally. Futures are largely unchanged this morning as investors monitor the latest development in Washington on this possible stimulus bill. What's going on? Question mark, question mark. Prior to the election, Democrats and Republicans had been sparring over the price tag of the coronavirus aid package and couldn't narrow differences between the spread of 1.8 to 2.2 trillion and the 300 billion that McConnell was offering up. Now a bipartisan group of lawmakers from the House and the Senate have offered 908 billion compromise package, but it's so far hasn't been embraced by leaders or McConnell in either party. I think the Democrats are on board on this one now. Initial claims came out today. Final reading on labor market before tomorrow's closely watched job report. So the data from the unemployment numbers have failed to move the needle on stimulus. Obviously, the market is going to be very pro-stimulus. Is that the proper word for it? We're still trading the D's contract and the equities. The March contract is being traded in the financials, but still trading the D's and the equities. I think probably next week they'll flip over to March and the equities. But for the time being, we're still in the D's. The United States should be able to distribute enough coronavirus vaccine from Pfizer and Moderna to immunize 100 million people by the end of February. Wow, which would protect the elderly, healthcare workers, and people with pre-existing conditions. There could even be more doses than expected if Johnson & Johnson potential vaccine is authorized before then, according to some doctor who's leading the Trump administration vaccine program, Operation Warp Speed. CVS and Walgreens are gearing up to deliver most of the vaccine doses for the nation's approximately 15,600 nursing homes and 29,000 assisted living communities. But the effort will need to be navigated to navigate rollout details That may vary by state. The worst part about this is that more than 100,000 people are currently sick with the virus in hospitals across the United States, pushing healthcare workers to their limits. That is the problem. There's no place for them. All right, if you did maybe buy the pivot on the first rotation back to it, you got paid off here. There's a nice little, quick little price action opportunity. One of the setups that we like to use. So if you did partake, you did all right. You are you are ready to go this morning. No stopping you. All right, so again, we are unfortunately a little range bound, and we as traders have to show some discipline and waiting for the opportunities. We can't just put trades on when it's not giving us too many chances. We did have a little bit of a opportunity there once if you did dip your toe against their pivot there just now. But if you didn't, that's okay. We just missed our 74 entry point. There's a little number coming out here at 8:45 and at 9 o'clock, and that shouldn't be market movers, but nonetheless, they are numbers going to be released, so we have to be a little bit careful. We don't like to trade numbers or to have positions during numbers on. It's kind of, you never know how these things are going to turn out. It's not worth the aggravation, basically. You're probably going to get stuck with it if it goes against you. It's always nice when it goes your way, but there's no guarantee. And every time I've ever had a position on when seems like every time I have a position on when there's a number comes out, it's always wrong. So, just not worth the aggravation. And not, especially when it's slow like this, it's just, if there is a number that actually create some volatility, we'll be ready for that. But otherwise, let's just we don't like to have anything on when numbers are released. So again, welcome to some of the new folks here. We gave out levels this morning. If we can put the levels in the chat box area for me, I'd appreciate it. One more time, these are levels that we released out this morning. These are kind of what we're trying to use the whole day to see where we can go with the trades. If any trades present themselves, it'd be nice. If not, that's okay too. We have to be patient and wait for the opportunity. A little small opportunity there was a little rotation back to our pivot. And maybe you got long there. Some of you were looking to get long. But anyway, first resistance up here we have is the 74 area. You've already seen this eruption from plant-based meat suppliers like Beyond Meat and Impossible Foods, but another technological find that aims to revolutionize The meat production has taken a step forward. California's food startup Eat uh, just won a Singapore governmental approval to sell chicken grown from poultry cells, which are produced in a bioreactors without slaughtering of animals. The company already produces a range of non-animal products, including Just Egg, made from mung beans, and a vegan mayonnaise, but approval of the cultured meat is being hailed as a landmark moment in the industry. All right, there you have it. I have to admit, those impossible stuff, they're not bad. I hope they're good for you, but who knows, right? Uh, Make chicken from poultry cells. Would they still be considered a meat if they're made from poultry cells? Or I don't know. I don't know. Well, you would think, right? Oh, thanks a lot for your help there and clarifying that for me. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that. I mean, I was the Beyond Meat and Impossible Food, Impossibles. I mean, they're plant based, so they're not. This is made from a poultry cell, so I don't know. I don't know. It's. I'm just waiting for the driverless cars to come around so that I don't have to drive anymore. Just take me around if I'm around by then. We'll see. All right. OPEC and delegates may have found a way forward. Earlier talks this week had centered on to delay a January production hike by 3 months, but that option ran into obstacles due to the clash between Saudi Arabia and the UAE. Now the group appears to be leaning towards a oil cuts rollover with a modest boost in their collective oil output by as much as 500,000 barrels a day starting next month. A compromise would go a long way among some of the world's biggest producers as they met later today. They meet later today to formalize the deal. Yeah, they were threatening. That's why we broke the other day, because Saudi Arabia said that they wanted to leave OPEC. How long did that last? Anyway, well, they're not gonna make this stuff without giving you a big, fat, juicy steak, right? I mean, they're going to make it a big, fat, juicy steak. It just won't be steak. It'll be a big, fat, juicy steak. I don't know. I'm just wondering. All right, let's see. Boeing got its 737 Max out again. Stock is doing good if you bought that one when the whole world said sucks. All right, so that's nothing else to keep us busy on that front, as a little number did come out now. Again, you can tell not too much of a movement. No, I'm not going to jump on the plane and check it out, see if it works okay. I'll leave that to you when you come to Chicago in the middle of January. Don't worry, I'll try to find something to keep you warm. I just want you to experience wind chill one time. Yeah, the pivot did work again. That would work, Steve. But when you're walking in that wind chill, sometimes there ain't nothing going to help. No problem there, Pat. Thanks for coming in. All right. Again, welcome to some of the new folks that are here. If you have any questions, please feel free to um, ask them in the chat box area. If we could throw up the numbers one more time. If you look at the chat box area, here's the levels that we gave out this morning that we use as a guide for the day. We have to remember that unemployment is going to be released tomorrow, so our opportunities might be kind of tamed down here a little bit as the market is not giving us too many chances. But yeah, probably tomorrow we'll make up for it if the market doesn't really move that much today. But who knows, right? You never know what could be said or what they could agree on some kind of package in Washington that could continue to rally forward. We just never know. You never know how these things play themselves out. So just be patient. Again, we can only trade what the market gives us. Consequently, we have to sometimes be patient and wait for the opportunity. One of the major skills that traders should have is discipline, both on your waiting for the opportunity to present themselves and also, your stops. That's all important. Uh, well, I don't know. How can you tell it looks like any kind of setup? To be honest with you, I mean, it is not doing anything. But if you say so, I mean, see, that's the thing about trading. You could see something, you could trade it, and you could be right, you could be wrong. I don't know. I see nothing. I could be right or I could be wrong. I don't know. But that's why people are trading all the time. It's I don't see anything here right now, so I don't see I I don't see I don't see much here. But again, you could be right. But if you want to trade your opinion, that's fine. Just keep your stop in. And it's okay to have opinions. I just rather my philosophy of trading is I'd rather have the market just kind of give me the opportunity instead of me trying to think I'm going to create my own. I don't do a good job of creating my own opportunities. And if anybody has any questions, please feel free to ask them in the chat box area. We're range bound there, Steve. So, I mean, it would have been, it's obviously better the first time to it, but, it's till we break out of range, right? This is the bottom of the range. That's a good question there, Oscar. I mean, sometimes sometimes you can get an idea that the market's going to be a little bit more active um, overnight when there's some news or there's a number that was released before the market opened up, maybe tomorrow, like unemployment, and there's some volatility. Given the fact that there's unemployment tomorrow and we're trading in December, your expectations have to be toned down a little bit. So that's one aspect of knowing. But yes, usually my orders are in place already, and I can just kind of wait for them to get triggered. And now I'm looking for price action opportunities that the market might be giving me here. Even though we're in a tight little range, it seems to be bouncing off of our pivot and or our blue band there, and maybe that's a little bit of a play for me. So yeah, I'm given the fact that it's kind of quiet, maybe I'll take those opportunities at least once or twice. Maybe I wouldn't be going 30 times. Um, we might break out of this range. Somebody might say something. Those are the unknown factors that occur, and you'll again, all of these things, you'll notice it when the market starts moving a little bit faster, and if they cut through levels really quick. You can see sometimes so we don't know when we're going to get busy. They could, like I said, they could approve, or they could come to some kind of agreement on the stimulus package that good enough for the market, or they can agree on a stimulus package that's not good enough for the market. And that'll give us some volatility one way or the other, right? But we know where we have our resistance on the upside, and we know where we have our support on the downside. At least when it's range bound like this, it's a little bit easier to trade, right? When we start moving around a little bit, you get different opportunities, and so you try to take advantage of those when those happen. But you know, you get in, you step in here every day, and you don't know what the market's going to give you, right? We might be busy, we might not be. It's one of those things that you 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 got to take each day as it comes. I don't know if that answers the questions for you there, Oscar, but again, we've been doing this long enough that you just gotta take each day as it comes. As we can see here by the lightening of the load here on the ladder ticket, there's a number coming out right now. It's got very thin there a little bit. There's no 100 lots up and down the ladder ticket. So again, I always tell you that that's another way of knowing that there's a number. If I don't tell you there's a number and the number just came out, it wasn't really a big market mover, but nonetheless. All right, there, Steve. At least you popped in there and pivot, and if you did the blue band, you did all right too. Nice little rotation there off of a little bit of a long. And again, we just have to kind of just be a little bit patient and wait. Again, we've had a couple good opportunities there for us, so it's not too bad. Look, there's no too tight. You know, what you're telling me there is you're complaining about making money. For those of you, some of you who think that you got in and you got out too soon or too early, you never think about the time where you had your stop or you got out and there was a really nice exit and the market, that was the perfect exit strategy. You always think about the times that you got out and the market kept going the way that you had that position. Okay, so if you thought about the number of times that you got out and it was a perfect exit strategy, probably balance out the times when you got out and the market kept going your way. But you never think about it that way. You always think about it, oh, damn, I got out too soon. Look what happened. I was long on the market. I got out and the market rallied another 2-3 points. How about the times when you got in or got out at perfect exit strategy and the market collapsed from there? Huh? 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 Tell me about that time. Tell me about all those times. You can't. I know, because you don't remember those times. So there's your counter argument to your, oh, damn, I got out too soon. We're touching the 74 area here. Again, if you were able to get long and get out, that's okay. You can get back in again. And if you have to take your loss on it, that's fine too. It's all right. Stuff happens. I work in the 74 area here. Oh, great. Thanks for the Thanks for the comparison. I appreciate it. That's exactly what I want to be compared to. Thanks, I appreciate it. I'm sure she's a nice woman. Just seeing what it wants to do up here at 74. We are, if we look at, what's that? Today is Thursday, Tuesday's range. We're kind of stuck in Tuesday's range, right? We still got, haven't really gone anywhere from Tuesday's range. And we are mired in Tuesday's range still, which again usually happens when there's this number coming out like on Friday. You get some volatility, and then they just suck it out the rest of the week until they wait for Friday's number to be released. I just kind of hanging here around the 74 area, try to see what it wants to do. I haven't heard about that there, to be honest with you. But you've always like inspired me to look into different things. So yeah, Tudor Jones. You ever hear Tudor Jones? Tudor Jones, in his trading, how he traded actually, was when he comes up to support, or let's say it comes up to resistance, right? Like he'd come up here to the 74 area. Instead of selling the resistance, he'd be buying it. He'd just be buying it like crazy, and he'd be hoping for the market to push through and hit the stops, and that's supposedly how he made some of his big money trades. That instead of selling resistance, he would be buying resistance. Now, he was a big bond trader at the time, and we kind of like that because he'd be right once in a while, but he also had the account balance to be able to stick with buying resistance. He if it broke off of it and came and acted as resistance, he would just wait, buy the next level underneath, and then when it comes back up, he's all set. But that's how we used to trade. So everybody's different. I've said it many a time. People trade differently for different reasons. You have to find the system, that methodology that works for you, that gives you the ability to make some money, and stick with something that's that you're confident in doing, which is a hard thing to do. Yeah, again, you have it makes sense if you have the account balance to be able to do it, and to if you're wrong, if resistance is resistance, to be able to withstand or get out with a loss. So he obviously had the ability to do that, and then became a little bit, that's what he did. So, but yeah, he was. That is the. That's what his thing was. He'd be right once in a while, you know. But that's what he would do. You come up to resistance. I remember his broker in the bomb pit would just start buying like crazy, and you're like, well, is he right? Is he wrong? I mean, what's he doing? What does he know? So obviously he was successful. So he obviously did something right. No, a breakout trade is not totally different than buying resistance. That's a different concept. He was buying highs. Yeah, okay. Again, look, he would be buying the 74 area here. Let's put it that way, right? That's what he would be doing here. We we're maybe selling it here a little bit, and he's buying it. Just, you know, oh, you're probably looking at the bond. He was probably looking for half point moves in the bonds, which is, let's see, how can I compare it to the S&Ps, which would be maybe about 20 or 30 S&P points. That's what he was looking at. Again, you have different goals, right? I mean, these guys got different goals. They're not getting in for 2 or 3 points. They're getting in for 20 or 30 points. So, all right, if you did trade our upper level here is 74.5, we did dip down. Hopefully you're taking some profits off here against our 74. So yeah, so again, like I keep saying, there's different ways of trading out there. There's not one right way of doing this. We found this little niche of ours that we like and keeps us. We were very risk averse. They were a little bit more, some other methodologies maybe a little bit more risky, and but this is what we, again. I'm not saying that he does anything wrong, and that's why when some people ask me about, how is my track record? Well, I mean, I can give you the same amount of information. I can give 20, 30 people the same amount of information, and everybody will trade them differently. And I'm not trying to, and I've always said that, I'm not trying to uh, not give you an honest answer, but that's my honest answer when it comes to people asking me, how well do you do in this room? I've always said that you have to find the right, even within the system, whatever system you're trading, you have to find the things that make you comfortable, and you can trade and feel confidence in trading. So um, that's what we try to do. All right. So again, we were hopefully you took some profits there off the table when it dipped down to the 2.5, 2 area. It did go down to 2, but it just touched the 2. But we did get up to 4.5 and change. So hopefully you were able to take some off. There have been times where I can tell you that if I knew we were coming up to a resistance area, right, that I would start buying it beforehand. The problem with that is that it is a resistance area, and sometimes we get up to it like we did here, and other times you've seen it, we get up to 73 and break off. Again, it's hard to kind of know unless you have a clear reason to buy it and wait for the 74. Like maybe if you bought the 68s and you had a goal or an objective of 74, and you said that's what I was going to do. Yeah, well, that's okay, right? Because you had a reason to buy it down there. But let's say I didn't buy it at 68 and I was thinking, okay, we're going to go to 74, or I think we're going to go to 74. So I'd buy 70s and 71s and 72s. Then it stops at 73 and breaks down back down to 78 or 68. Then I feel like an idiot. because I had a nice trade, but my objective was 74 and we didn't get there. So it's hard to, I would have rather you tell me you got long at 68 and held on and got out at 74. And that would be, no, I understand. Well, that's the other problem, is that's also going to happen, right? That we do sell the 74s and we have to get stopped out. Again, it's the question you're asking me is, if you had tomorrow's paper today, then I could give you an answer. But that's why we trade, right? Because we don't know what's going to happen. I mean, that's really just that simple. I wish I could have told you to buy 68s, walk away for 10 minutes and come back, and you would have been filled at 74. And if I knew that, I could just trade it one time and I'd take off the rest of the month. You know what I'm saying? So, but what can I tell you? It is what it is, right? This is trading. Sometimes we're just gonna take what it gives us, and sometimes it's good, and sometimes it's bad, but hopefully more good than bad. And I think you've been with us long enough to know that occurs. So. All right, so we're just kind of again, we want you to take some profits off. You got filled on the upper end of the range there, and we did get back down to 72. It touched it. Unfortunately, I don't know if we were able to get out at everything at 72. Market profile was really good, but again, it shifted from time, which was more market profile, to volume, like you said. And so we do look at the volume as kind of does the same thing as the market profile did with time, but because of the way the markets have changed and evolved with electronic trading, they've gone to the volume. So yes, we do look at it as part of the work that we do. It's incorporated in sometimes how we find levels. We talk about value areas that the market creates. Yeah, I mean, we do have a time factor in a couple of our trades that we talk about, but most of the time it's you have to look at the volume. And the market profile has shifted from time to volume because of the transition to the trade being more on electronically than it was in the pit before. Yeah, well, I don't look at it to give me the levels. If it matches up nicely, like you said, then that's great. And it gives me another reason to trade a level, but I don't look at it as a reason to trade. Yeah, I'm bad at. Trust me, there's nobody here worse at waiting than I am. I've learned that I have to wait because look, I came from the pit where I thought, if you were listening yesterday when I was giving you some of my pit stories, I mean, I had a position on all the time, and I wouldn't even know sometimes if I was long or short because I'd be like trading. I had an idea in my head, but unless I got a count from my clerk, I would no idea. So, yeah, it's for me to say that you have to wait for the opportunities is new to me, because I hated waiting, and I've learned to listen. When I came over to start trading on electronically, I mean, I was doing kind of the same thing. I was like, I was trading the Dow at the time, and the Dow was $5 a tick. And I traded 3,000 Dow in a day because I couldn't just sit around and do nothing. Contracts. I mean, I wasn't paying much. I was only paying like a dime a contract at the time. On a bad day, I'd trade 2,000, 3,000. I have traded those. I said that one time to somebody. I was doing a thing with the Board of Trade, and so I was talking to a group of people, and I said that I traded like 2,000 contracts in a day, and some guy goes, "I don't believe you." I'm like, okay, you don't have to. You don't have to. You don't have to believe me. But yeah, that's what he told me. It's like, okay. It's like the same guy who told me that he's been listening to my when we were on the floor. There was some floor noise of traders trading in the background, so you could hear them trading in the pit because I stood right above one of the option pits, and so I leave the microphone on when I wasn't trading, and or when I wasn't talking, and the guy comes in. He came to Chicago actually and said to me, I really thought you were doing this on a recording because I thought you were someplace on a beach, like laying around talking, and that the noise that you were giving from the pit noise wasn't really the pit noise, that you were actually on a beach someplace. Same thing when, and I go, yeah, he actually came to Chicago to meet me just to disprove his own hypothesis. I go, yeah. And he comes in March or something like that. And I go, well, you want to go to the beach? We could go to the beach, but it's going to be a little bit cold, And when he told me that story, I was like, okay. Anyway, but yeah, that's true. That's a true story. I've said that story before. I don't usually take any. Yes, I did take him out to lunch. I was a nice guy. Um, no, I don't have any positions on. I don't. If I do have a position on, it's an accident. When I was trading, let me tell you. So I'm trading in the pit, and I had my clerk who clerked for me all day, and she kept my counts, and I kept my own count. She kept it as a backup count, and sometimes we'd be off. We'd have to go back and count my cards, make sure that we weren't off, right, or how we were off. We'd figure it out where we messed up because I mean, like I said, I'm keeping my count on my cards, and I count it up every time I give her a card. And usually, if it's not busy, I can keep tabs, and she can keep tabs, and I get flat, and then she comes in and tells me you're flat or whatever, and it's fine. There were a couple times there where I don't know, it was busy or something, and I left, and I get a phone call that night from, now there's a clerk that I had that worked for me, and then there's another clerk that took care of my account with the firm. So he calls me, tells me, by the way, you're short 3 contracts. I'm like, what do you mean I'm short 3 contracts? And should be flat. So of course, at that time they were trading actually at night, right? And you would go in at night because they didn't have electronic trading. It was only pit trading, and it was pit trading at night. And so you go in at night and you do what you have to do. So he tells me that I had this position on at night. So he calls me up and says, by the way, they ran it through and you're short 3 contracts. I'm like, oh. I go, where's the market? He goes, it's limit up. Limit up. I don't take any positions on, and all of a sudden I get a call from my clerk, and he tells me I'm short 3 contracts and it's limit up. I'm like, oh my God. The limit up, by the way, those days were 3 points in the bonds. Each point is $1,000, right? So I had 3 contracts. I was short, and we were limit up. So that's 3 contracts times 3 is $9,000. Okay, not 3 lot, and limit up. And it was I think it was that day. Remember when the stock market went down 500 points that one day in 1987 or 88? I don't know, whatever it was. It was a crazy day in the pit that day. We were crazy, running crazy, and that was like never ran. No, it never was down 500 points, and it was also traded a billion contracts. The market was they couldn't they were so surprised they could handle the volume, all that stuff, right? So I had to go in there. I stood there for about 2 hours. It was limit up the whole time. And you go there. The only reason I went down there, and I don't usually go down there. Usually I tell them to cover it, but it was limit up. So you walk in there and you see the secondary brokers who are the backup to the main brokers in the morning are usually there trading at night. And so I went to them. I said, "Listen, boys, if you guys get an order, if we go out limit off a limit here, uh, could you? I'm short." And so stood there for about an hour and a half, and it went off of limit for 10 ticks, and I covered them and went back limit up. And then the next morning, we didn't trade for the next like 3 days because it was limit up every day for like 3 days. It was up like 12 points before we opened up and was able to trade again. So if I didn't go in there and cover my 3 lot that night, it would have cost me 9,000. It cost me as it was. It would have cost me like 40 grand on a 3 lot, because it was up like 12, 14 ticks points after that before it finally opened up on a 3 lot. So that was interesting. So I guess that was my best out ever. Like I said, some of your best trades are some of the trades that you can scratch, right? That was one of my best trades that I lost money on. See, it's like it's a goofy kind of world we live in, right? That you can lose $9,000 on a trade and say that was your best trade ever. No, so I don't. Again, I don't usually hold anything overnight. It was a mistake. That's the part that's killing me. You learn from them. Sure, you can learn from them. You can learn from any bad trade that you make. It's always the case, right? And hopefully you learn from your bad trades. And there's also if you go back and look at your bad trades, you'll always find one constant, I think, or a couple constants that you can fix. And that's the hard part: is how do you fix those constants that attribute to you losing money? If you go find those bad trades, I'm not talking about the trades that you get stopped out, because those are fine. But there are some bad trades that you put on because you kind of lost discipline. You didn't do what you're supposed to do, and those are the ones that you have to go recheck and say, what did I do wrong, and why did that happen to me? Because there's always going to be one of those trades that you kind of lose discipline and you do things that you're not supposed to do. And we need obviously some volatility for that to happen. So if that happens, you get you get the movement, you get that idea of what I did wrong, and hopefully you can fix it. So it is what it is. Like I said, I'm not talking about those trades that you just got stopped at, because if you got stopped out here at 74, that's the right thing to do. That's a good trade. You got stopped out, right? That's fine. If you took the only thing you could have done different there in this trade was when it dipped down, you could have taken some profits off if you're trading multiple contracts, and maybe took less off, maybe scratched it if it came back up, something like that. Right. It did go past 74. Oh, buy the retracement now. I would buy if I'm looking for support area right now would probably be around. I'd look if you want a good level to buy it would be 70. It's okay. So yeah, I mean, the better area would be the 72, but anywhere between 70 and 72 would be a buy area if you're looking for a little buy. Yeah, Helmut, that's true. If that's the hard, that's why I keep saying every day when there's not much going on that we should be patient and wait, because that is the hard part is waiting for the opportunity. Um, it's just that's just what the market is doing for us. Sometimes we have to, we gotta be patient a little bit. And it's the hard part because you get in here every day, and well, you get in here ready to attack, and then there's nothing to attack, and you're like, "What am I doing here? I should be attacking." Yeah, okay, well, let's attack when you get something to attack. It's like I've never done this because I don't have guns or anything. But if you went like deer hunting, don't you like have to sit in a tree or cover up with branches and leaves for like hours until something walks by you and you know don't you at that point you have to. Yeah, I mean, I don't have the patience for it. I mean, I'm lucky I have patience enough to sit here and talk to you guys and not trade and wait for the opportunity. I can't imagine having to go sit in a tree for hours waiting for a kill or whatever that is, whatever happens. Kind of the same thing, right? So what am I saying? Deer hunters should be good traders. Oh, fishing, give me a break. That's interesting. HD says that. It reminds me of a quote: war is long periods of boredom punctuated by moments of sheer terror. That's a very good way of looking at it. um, I love that, HD. That's very good. What's a reasonable stop? 2 to 3 points. I think I said that earlier. That's what we're looking for, and it varies depending on volatility. When in March we were trading, we had uh, our 10-point stops, and we were getting 10-point rotations on our profit targets. So we do have to adjust to market conditions. It's part of the game. All right. So what happens when there's not much going on? You get me talking way too much. All right, maybe they've come up with some kind of solution there in Washington in regards to um, stimulus talks or not. Who knows? Could you repeat the levels one more time for me there, um, Mark? Try to post the levels up here for you guys. There they are. Those are the levels that we gave out. If you're looking at a chat box area, that's what we're looking at. Next level of resistance we have is the 82 area. Support would be back around 70 to 72 area, somewhere in there. At least for the time being. That could change. All right. Like I said, kind of slow day, not much going on, but had a little buying opportunity there around the pivot area a couple times. If you did buy them there, I think it was pretty safe. You never really took any heat on them. And then we just kind of bounced, and finally got up to 74. We sold 74, even our 74 and a half. If you did that, we did come down to 72, touch of 72, but I don't know if you could have gotten out. Like I was hoping that you, like I said, when they got down to 72, hopefully you took some profits on the way down, even though you didn't get your whole 2 points. But the way it was trading at the time, you have to kind of watch, and it was getting to the 10-minute mark. So those kind of things you have to take into account a little bit as we're trading. And so hopefully maybe you got out for a little bit of profit. You couldn't maximize it, but again, sometimes you got listen to the market and what it's saying. It wasn't going to give us that rotation. It didn't feel like it, didn't want to. It was fighting it. There's some good volume that came up there. There was some good buying. It just, you could tell every time they tried to dip it down, there was some buying coming in. So, and then it pushed up off of there. And now we're trying to test this. Our next level above here is the 82. We also have some support be anywhere between 70 to 72 area right now. And again, that's now. That's the analysis or work that we do there. That's how we came up with the 82. We use technical analysis for that. Again, any levels or opportunities or trades that we talk about, price action opportunities is kind of we show you what to do and how to find them. The objective of our education course here is to be able to let you find these areas on your own and to be able to trade them on your own. And that way, you're independent of myself, but the 82 level, any other level that I talk about is what we kind of try to show you how to find them independently of myself. And again, if anybody has any questions, please feel free to ask. All right, the market got it right up here to the 79.5 area. Be a little bit careful there against the 82 just because of the way this is playing out. If the market extends a little bit, then if we get below, I mean, that would be a place where it would stop maybe. But if the market keeps going up in time, then if we get below, I mean, it could hold. It's the upper part of value there. But there'll be momentum to sell it through. It'll be different momentum later on than it is now. Especially if we stay up here, trade up here for a bit. And so you would think that the momentum the trade would hold up here. You get later on, especially if we go higher, the momentum will carry it through. I think that 70, 72 area, and probably look better at our pivot down at 68. Just an opinion. Do I look at the? Yeah, I always look at the price ladder. It's part of what you have to look at. But again, you can't focus a lot of it. You can't focus too much on the ladder ticket, only because they play games with it. If they want to sell like 1,000 and they only show 100, but there's a computer program that will say, okay, I want to sell 1,000, but don't show more than 100 at a time. And yeah, so they could do it that way too. And so sometimes you get kind of deceived by the ladder ticket. Yeah, there's a 600 or a 500 lot up there. It's just sticks out like a sore thumb, but it's not really it's not going to stop the market if it wants to go above it. Maybe a 2,000 lot might, but not a 500 lot. And why is it 500 instead of 600? Because there's probably some stragglers on there who's seeing the same thing you're seeing and just jumping on board. If you wanted to take advantage of it, you'd have to probably put it a tick below, right? If you were thinking that the 600 is going to stop it. But then you would have only 81 traded there, so who knows if you would have gotten filled. Yeah, I said if you wanted to do it, that's what you would do. Again, I'm not here to tell people not to do something. I try to tell people, I try to show people what the risk is, and you have to make those decisions on your own because, like I said, everybody's different, So I'm not here to change your trading style. I'm just here to kind of maybe explain the risk, and then you have to make that decision on your own because it's not what somebody decides or trades doesn't mean that they're wrong. It just means that they are comfortable doing what they're doing. As long as they're making money on it, doesn't mean that we have to follow the same thing. Thanks. No, I don't. All right. Again, patience is important. 82. And remember, anything above here, we're hitting all-time new highs. So you have to be careful and use your stops no matter what. We can't, we're just assuming we're using either fibs or some other technical analysis parts to get these new levels above all-time highs. So these things are not, nothing here is like solidly etched in gold. So make sure uh, to keep your stops in uh, because, like I said, these are all-time highs, and that's you know who knows where they're going. So it's when they decide they want to take some profits that the market will stop. So you know, see what happens. Again, patience is important. Sometimes we get busy, sometimes we don't. We never know. That's the good and the bad of the game. All right, again, looks like we're flagging here a little bit. So the 82, as much as I want to say, it's like going to be a really good level. It's a little bit tenuous right now, so be a little bit careful there. Um, we might kind of bust through it if you want to extend it a little bit, maybe up to 84. I think would be a little bit better of a level than the 82, just because of the price action. And again, you have to adjust a little bit given what is happening. Flagging is this pattern right here is like a flagpole, and then it kind of the flag comes out. So this is just a technical term for, I guess there was some kind of, I don't know, whoever came up with these terms for whatever. Somebody must have been some kind of artist or something. I don't know, some visionary come up with that phrase, but that's what it is. That's what that means. Another way of looking at it is we're just creating value here, going nowhere fast between 79 and 76. That too. Uh, the worst trade for us is the slow progression to the upside, where we don't get any kind of movement rotation back down. Unfortunately, sometimes that happens when the markets are going up, but we've been actually kind of lucky this week that we've had some, even though the markets were rallying, we were getting some good opportunities. Today, on the other hand, it just doesn't seem like it. It's kind of stuck here. Beal, like I said, let's make an adjustment to 82, make it 84. I don't like the 82 anymore. Rally markets do seem to do that, but I know you don't. It doesn't seem like it, but they do the same thing on the downside. So it's just upside down flag pull. I don't know. They do the same thing on the downside. It's just a matter of it's a little bit easier to visualize going up. But we don't like markets that are going up. They suck the volatility out of the market like crazy when the markets are going up. I don't know why. It's just not the same trade. McConnell did say the reason that we're pushing up here, that we can do this. The compromise is within reach. McConnell is the one that's been holding back this thing, and I think that's, like I said, that's the only thing that's kind of holding this market back from rallying was some kind of deal. Uh, and that's why we like the 70 to 72 area there as support. Like I said, I wish I had tomorrow's paper today. One time. I'd be coming out to California and playing golf with you. Because you told me it was 85 in wherever you told me. Bellwood or Hollywood or some car name. Malibu, exactly. If I had tomorrow's paper today one time, that's where I would be. Malibu. Playing golf instead of in Chicago, dealing with wind chill. But then I come back to Chicago because I like the city. There's a lot of things to do around here when we're able to do things. Surfboard, what's that? McConnell sounds pretty optimistic. Compromises within reach. We can do this. We need to do this. So let's be about actually making a law. Okay, there he is. He's all excited. McConnell is all excited about getting something done. So that's sort of the little optimistic push here. And again, that is the only thing that I think that can make this market continue to rally. And there's not much else up here that can really do much. Oh, in the city? Oh, my kids live in the city. All my kids live in the city. Well, one of them lives up north, but all of them live in that Lakeview area, Andersonville. They're all down there. It is kind of nice during the summertime where they're all walking around and stuff. It is kind of cool. Again, it's been a while since that's happened because of this craziness, but this is 2020 and I cannot wait for it to end. I have to be honest with you. This has been just a absolutely horrid year in many ways, personally and obviously the world. Just crazy things have been happening. But we're here trading, so how bad could it be? Well, it's not out yet. The light at the proverbial end of the tunnel is almost there. So we'll see. Let's hope it comes around and people take it and it's safe. All right. That's the key. I mean, there was I think 2,600, 2,300 people died yesterday from this thing. I mean, it's crazy numbers. It's crazy numbers. That's all I can say. It's crazy numbers. And the more people hospitalized than ever before, and that's even crazier because it's not so much as you run out of hospital space, which is one issue, but you also run out of people who are taking care of this. They have that. They might have the hospital space. They don't have the people to take care of these people. It's just a terrible situation. But let's hope it gets over soon. Anyway, that's all we can pray for, hope for. All right. All right. So, it's going to take a little bit of time here. Things have slowed down a little bit. I don't know if much is going to happen unless, of course, like I said, if they do come up with an agreement sooner than later, you might get a little bit of a push here to the upside. Remember, unemployment is tomorrow, so whatever's going to happen is going to be a little bit measured. So that's why I might like the 84 area instead of 82, make a little bit of an adjustment and keep the rest of the levels above. And remember that these highs here are all-time highs, so there's no technical reason why it should stop. That's why we keep our stops in there, but just doesn't mean that we don't have to trade, just means you have to be careful. And so that's what's going on here. On the downside, 70 to 72 right now. Right now, I'd even say probably, yeah, 72. And then I would even say if this stays up here, look at the 68 and then go from there on the downside levels. If we start moving up a little bit. So, all right. Hope everybody Hope I kept everybody entertained, because it wasn't the trading that kept us entertained, that's for sure. And look, sometimes it's going to be that way. We're going to have days where we're going to be um, trading a lot and focus more on that and talking about that and what our next opportunity is. And other times you get to hear me yak away. Believe me, I get bored listening to myself, so I'm sure God knows what happens to you guys. All right. Talk to you guys later.
Hey, thank you, Sal. A couple quick programming notes. Hey, Mark L., thank you. For those that are part of Sal's Monthly, thank you. For those that are interested in finding out more about Sal's class, his course, and his mentoring work, let us know in chat. We'll set up a time to talk to you privately on the telephone or through Skype or some other means. Hey, Oscar. I did send out the opportunity to sign up for Sal's offer. I'll send it out to everybody now. How many? Hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly. I'll send it out to you. Keegler, I'll send it back out to you. And again, there's the monthly that's joining Sal's family, being part of the service on a daily basis. You can come and go as you please for the month. And then if you want to chat about Sal's mentoring and his coursework, we can set that up for you. Petrus, I'm sending it out to you also. Hey, Sona, I'm going to send it out to you. Hey, Steve P., you had shouted out yesterday. I'm not sure if we were going to set up a time to speak. Just let me know back in chat. That's for Steve P. Sure, Steve. And is there a topic? What are we looking for? Yeah, whatever you need. I mean, do you have dates or? Yeah, that's fine. Don't worry about it. Just let me know. We'll try to take care of you the best we can. Not a problem. We appreciate you being here. Hey, Al Limony, let me know if you're there. I want to make sure I'm pronouncing your name right. Hey, Dean. Hey, Dean, have you been able to get in on Saul's course time at all? You know, I know your schedule's tough. You know, for those that may not know, Saul has private class with individuals that have gone from his monthly, they keep the monthly, and then they're join Saul in private session and work with him on those areas of the trade that they need. You know, price action trading is the methodology here. Well, he mentions it in the morning. So yesterday, I think he did it around 1 Eastern time, 12. Right now it's 11:08 Eastern. So he's talking Central time, 12 noon Central time. And it depends. It could be an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours. Just depends on what he's got going. Hey, Maureen, do you guys have time today scheduled for class? Yeah, so it was thanks, Maureen. It was yesterday at noon Central, but he has them on a regular basis. So you're in and I'll shout out to you if I hear it. I'll send you a message if you're not, yeah, you can do it anytime next time, right? Hey, Sona, let us know what you're thinking. Keegler, let us know what you're thinking. You know, Saul also has some great opportunities for his mentoring service based on price. He's running some nice specials on that. So if you're looking to get yourself rolling as we come into the new year, see if you can jump on that opportunity for yourself. And if you want to talk about it privately, let us know. I'll be in the background. Anybody needs us. And again, we appreciate you being here. If you're dialing in, click on the link and join us live in Zoom. Everything we do here is for educational purposes only. Nothing's to be taken as direct trading or investment advice. Your trading is between you and your broker at your own risk. This is an educational opportunity to learn price action trading and look to develop what we call consistent profitability.